Hello everybody, welcome again to another episode of Porowhita Zoo with me, Ashley, from This Gameware. We are today looking at our latest build, which is a gorilla habitat, and this, if I zoom back a little bit, is gorilla mount. So looking at it from above, we have got what is actually our first circular enclosure. And for anyone that's been watching from the beginning, you'll know that actually Porowhita is the Maori word for circles, and the reason for that is we are planning on having several circular exhibits in the zoo. So there's another couple over there, and there's going to be one right in the corner over there, one over in the corner there, one somewhere around this area here as well. And this is our first one. So we've designed this so that it's not exactly a walking enclosure, but it's sort of got this panopticon style central viewing area. So you can see, I'm going to have to move that plant. I didn't realize that was like that, but you can see all the way around into the exhibit. There's our gorillas, look. Into the exhibit, there's a central area here that is indoors with a glass roof on top. And then if we zoom back round again, you've got a second outdoor area that they can get into. So this is one enclosure. This isn't three separate enclosures. This is one entire enclosure, and the viewing is pretty much 360 degrees, or you can certainly look at it from every single angle on that inside area. The only obvious part that you can't look at the gorillas is this bit here where you get into there. So as I say, this is called Gorilla Mount. It's got lowland gorillas in. It's got viewing all around the edge as well, so that you can see from two different angles, or several different angles, and then around the back I'm gonna build a utilities area around there that links onto the back of it. So you may notice that the colouring is quite bright on the front and then dark around the sides. Now the colours here, those three colours, the blue, the yellow and the green, they're actually the colours of the Gabonese flag, the flag of Gabon. And just like our Nialas over there with the red and the black and the green, I've taken these colours from the flag of Gabon, and I'm starting to think that I'm going to use that motif, this flag motif, for this area here. So going from our Nialas over on the left in the top left there, stretching out probably to just beyond here, our new exhibit. So from sort of here all the way to the edge over there, I'm going to incorporate flags, designs and colours. And this is going to be probably an African area. So the African countries where, say, the greatest... So for the Nialas and the gorillas, I've chosen Gabon and Malawi for a couple of reasons. Well, Malawi for a couple of reasons, but Gabon and Malawi are the sort of main ranges, or part of the main range for each of those species, the gorilla and the Niala respectively. So main features of this exhibit here, obviously it's a circular exhibit with those three sections. It is a jungly exhibit, so a sort of rainforest jungle type setup, which is with quite thick vegetation, which is the first exhibit that we've done like that in Porowhita, because everything else has been fairly open and minimal planting, whereas this is quite dense vegetation. And that's because whenever I've seen gorillas on nature documentaries, the good old David Attenborough documentaries and whatnot, you always find that they're in these really lush forested areas, and really densely packed in with plants. Now I've kept some areas like this area free of planting, and that is obviously, well, I assume it's obvious because this is sort of the viewing area. So if the gorillas in the zoo chose to come to this front area, then they would be visible from the outside by viewers, by visitors even. I do have, so this is the indoor area, and coming out of there I've got this slightly overgrown path that leads into this main open space, and then coming out of there again I've got this slightly overgrown path that leads out into into the front bit here. So imagine they come through that slight gap there, brush through those bushes. They hop over there or onto the trunk, and then come down to the main viewing area from the outside over here. So we've also got these trees. These are Wimbu trees, and one of my ambitions for Porowhita Zoo, it might sound a little bit strange, maybe, was to use some nice big trees. So I've got these 2 Wimbu trees here. The reason being, prior to this, I was building just Chester Zoo, and Chester Zoo obviously is based in the UK, and they don't tend to have these enormous trees in their exhibits. They tend to have fairly standard native species for the UK. So when I started Porowhita is really just a playground for me to do whatever I like with the exhibits that I build and the layouts and things. So one of the things that I wanted to do was try and get some of these really nice big tree species, plant species into my builds, and I've started that with this here with the Wimbu trees. So over here we've got sort of a slightly more open space that's designed a little bit around this watery area, with the Wimbu tree standing right on the edge of the water, and it's sort of growing over and into the rock formation there. And we've also got a little bit of, quite simple, but a little bit of rock formation around the exhibit on this side as well, whereas the other side doesn't have any real rock work at all. It's still got the foliage, the dense foliage, but not quite as dense as on the other side, and it's still got the paths that they take through it, but and they've been slightly more worn away. If we go inside, then we've got an even larger rock formation, which is actually where I've put the bedding as well. So that is now floating, which it wasn't a moment ago, but I'll sort that out in off camera. Yeah, we've got this rock formation, and that's actually what it's named after. So this is Gorilla Mount, and it is named after the fact that there is a mount there for the gorillas to jump up on and sleep on and whatnot. The idea being, when you're on this side of the glass and you come over here, they can either be at the front, or you might see them from a distance sleeping in a pile up on top of that, or on that rock surface. So that's the planting and the design of the enclosures. If I zoom out a little bit, we've actually got the main sort of unique feature, I guess, of this is that the gorillas actually have access to these climbing frames, and the climbing frames go over the heads of visitors. So the gorillas can actually get here. I will show you that in a moment. They can get up onto there, and then they can climb across. And instead of having to go indoors to come outdoors from one side to the other, they can use the climbing frames for that. I've kept all of the vine work quite high up on the climbing frames because of the dense foliage below. I figured that if you are looking at these climbing frames from below, you're more likely to see something if it's slightly higher up, strangely, because of how thick the bushes are at lower down and whatnot. So everything's quite high up on the poles. We've also got these canvas. These are actually overhangs, canopies for other things. If you look, they're actually put from the Arctic pack. But I've used it here to block the route getting down. So the gorillas, yes, they can climb along these vines, and they can climb across all the way to there or there, but they can't actually climb down this pole. Reason being, this canopy is not climbable, and therefore it blocks off the route down. And I've then actually incorporated those into my climbing frame design anyway, as sort of nests. So gorillas, if you don't know, build nests in trees. They use foliage, they use branches and leaves and things to build a gorilla nest. And the idea is that these are like little canvas nesting boxes, if you like, for gorillas. And I've hung them off the vines at various places throughout the exhibit. And that I just thought that would be quite nice. Obviously, they're not going to be able to be used in the game, but I thought it the idea of it, if you can imagine sort of being in the zoo and looking around and trying to spot gorillas, and then suddenly seeing that there's one peeking over the side of the canvas basket to because it's asleep or it's resting or whatever. I thought that would be quite cool. So that is, as I say, that is the gorilla mount. I think that's everything that I did with it. We will there's the planting at the front, which I sort of glossed over, didn't I? But slightly slow coming down, but there you go. There's the planting coming in at the front. Very pleased with this exhibit, actually. I hope you like it. We will be, as I say, filling out that area with more African animals. That's going to be our Africa zone. We've got over there, if you've been watching the videos with me, we've got over here a slightly Australian area or oceanic area, so Oceania. Animals like the koala and the saltwater crocodile in here at the moment. We've got kangaroos, will be in there momentarily. Looks like one of our koalas has escaped. So I'll have to get off here and catch him. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed today's video, if you like the look of what we've already built and maybe you're interested in what we're going to be building in the future, please do like and subscribe. That really helps us out and helps the video out, gets more people's eyes on it, makes sure that people that might like these things will see them. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and I will see you again next week for another video. Bye.